Welcome to this English listening story. This story is about time, how we lose it, how we chase it, and how sometimes we find it again in the most unexpected places. Let's begin. Part 1. The Arrival. Lena was always late. She was late to school, late to meetings, late to birthdays, dinners, and sometimes even to sleep. Not because she was lazy, she wasn't. Lena was a hard worker, a graphic designer in a busy city. She worked long hours, drank too much coffee, and always had a deadline. But time never seemed to be on her side. Each morning, she woke up tired. Each evening, she fell asleep scrolling her phone. And in between, life passed quickly.
People joked about it.
Lena time, her coworkers said. It's always 5 minutes behind. She laughed. But inside, she felt something deeper, something like regret. One Friday evening, after a long day, Lena opened her email. There was a message she didn't expect. Subject: a gift of time. Dear Lena, you have been selected for a special retreat. No cost. No expectations. Just time. Click below to accept. The Clockmaker. She almost deleted it. Spam, maybe? A scam? But something about the name, The Clockmaker, made her pause. She clicked. The website was simple. White background. A ticking clock. You've been invited to the island of forgotten clocks. A place where time slows down. Flights and stay are covered. You only need to say yes. Lena laughed.
Yeah, right.
An island of clocks. But the next day, a package arrived. Inside, a plane ticket, a ferry ticket, a hand-drawn map, and one note. You are losing time. Come find it. She looked around her messy apartment. Stacks of dishes, a buzzing phone, a blinking laptop. And for once she said yes. The flight was short. The ferry was quiet. There were only 4 other passengers, all quiet, all holding the same paper map. No one spoke much. When the ferry arrived, Lena stepped onto the dock. It was like no place she had ever seen. Tall grass moved like waves. Old trees curved over paths like arms. The wind carried the sound of soft ticking, like hundreds of tiny clocks ticking at once. A man waited by a sign that read, "Welcome to the island of forgotten clocks." He was tall, with white hair and kind eyes. "Welcome," he said. "I am Eli, the caretaker." He handed each person a key. "This is your cabin. The key knows where you belong." Lena followed the path on her map. Her cabin was small, wooden, quiet. No phone, no clock, just a bed, a chair, and a window that looked out to the sea. She sat on the bed and whispered, "Where am I?" That evening, they met by a large circle of stones near the center of the island. There were 12 cabins, 12 visitors, each from a different place, each with their own story. Eli stood in the center. "This island," he said, "was built by a clockmaker, a man who believed time was not a line, but a circle. Here, clocks are not for telling time. They are for remembering what we've forgotten." Lena asked, "What did we forget?" He smiled. "You'll see." The next morning, a clock appeared in her cabin. Small, wooden, old. It ticked, but the hands didn't move. Lena touched it. Nothing changed. She left it on the table and walked outside. Each day, she explored the island. There was a garden shaped like a spiral, a path made of mirrors, a small library where the books had no page numbers, only moments. In the library, she found a book titled Lena, 7 years old. Inside, a memory. A real one. It showed her drawing under a tree, laughing.
She remembered that tree.
It was gone now. Cut down years ago. "How is this possible?" she whispered. The librarian, a woman named Margot, said softly, "Time remembers you, even when you forget yourself." Lena felt tears in her eyes. That night, she sat with the other visitors. They shared tea and stories. One man said, "I was a lawyer. I lost my wife and didn't even notice." A woman said, "I used to sing. I forgot how." Another whispered, "I forgot who I was when I stopped dreaming." Lena didn't speak. She just listened. Later, she returned to her cabin. The small wooden clock still ticked, but now the hands had moved. Just a little. Over the next few days, strange things happened. She found a photo in the sand of her and her brother when they were children. She heard her mother's voice in the wind, humming a song she hadn't heard in years. And one evening, in the reflection of the lake, she saw herself, not now, but younger, happier. She reached out and the water rippled. The next morning, her clock ticked louder. The hands had moved again. She picked it up. This time, it felt warm. She whispered, "What do you want me to remember?" Eli invited her to the tower on the hill. It was the oldest part of the island. Inside were hundreds of clocks, all different sizes, shapes, and sounds. Some ticked slowly. Some didn't tick at all. Each one, Eli said, belongs to someone. "Do I have a clock here?" Lena asked. He nodded. He led her to a small gold clock with her name engraved on it. The hands were shaking, unstable. "This clock is your rhythm," Eli said. "It breaks when you forget what matters. It heals when you remember." She touched the glass. Inside, she saw a memory, her graduation day. She was smiling, proud. And then the phone rang. She picked it up. Work. She left the ceremony early. She had forgotten that moment until now. Tears filled her eyes. Later that night, she wrote in a journal she found in the library, "I've been running so fast, I forgot where I was going. This place is strange, magical, and I think I'm starting to hear myself again." The clock in her room now ticked softly, slowly, but clearly. It was healing. Previously, on the island of forgotten clocks, Lena, a busy designer from the city, accepted an invitation to a mysterious island where time had a different meaning. She discovered a strange clock in her cabin, memories she had forgotten, and the beginning of something healing. Now, her journey continues. The next morning, Lena woke up before sunrise. She sat by her window, watching the sky change colors. She held the small clock in her hands. It was ticking stronger now. The hands were slow, but moving like a heartbeat. That day, Eli gave the group a challenge. You will each visit the Tower of Echoes. There, you will face the moment that stopped your time. Everyone looked confused. "What do you mean?" asked one of the guests. Eli explained, "Each of you lost something, a moment, a dream, a version of yourself. The tower helps you find it again." Lena waited until the next morning to go. She walked up the hill slowly. The Tower of Echoes was tall and round, with windows like eyes. Inside, it was quiet. A voice, her voice, whispered, "Are you ready to see what you forgot?" She stepped forward. The room changed. Suddenly, Lena was in her old apartment. The lights were dim. Her phone buzzed. Emails. Deadlines. Deadlines. She saw herself on the couch, laptop open, tears in her eyes. She remembered this night. Her best friend had invited her out for dinner, a birthday celebration. But Lena said no. She had work. Again. Her friend never invited her again. She had forgotten that night. Or buried it. The voice whispered, "What did you lose?" Lena answered, "Connection. Presence." And the room changed again. This time she saw herself as a little girl, drawing, smiling. Her dad was beside her, reading the newspaper. Then a knock at the door. He left. The drawing stopped. She didn't remember what he said, but she remembered the silence that followed. She said, "I lost my father's attention." Tears filled her eyes. And then, the final memory appeared. It was a simple one. Lena, age 23, standing by the sea. No phone.
No job.
Just wind, waves, and peace. "I forgot her," she whispered. The girl who wasn't afraid to stop. The room faded. She was back in the tower. But she felt different. Lighter. The small clock in her hand now ticked strong and clear. When she returned to her cabin, she found something new. A letter in her own handwriting. It said, "Dear future me, you may forget time. You may run. But don't forget why you're running. And don't forget to rest. I love you." Lena, age 23. She held the letter to her heart. That night, the stars looked closer than ever. Over the next week, Lena helped around the island. She served tea in the garden. She painted a mural in the library. She played music in the evenings. Each visitor shared more stories. One woman started singing again. A man called his daughter for the first time in 5 years. Another person just sat in silence and smiled. Everyone's clock changed. Some healed. Some restarted. Some ticked for the first time in years. Eli said, "When time listens to you, you learn to listen back." The day before her departure, Lena sat with Eli under a tree. "Do people ever come back?" she asked. Eli smiled. "Some do. Some don't need to." "And you?" she asked. "Why are you here?" He looked out at the sea. "I was the first guest," he said. "The clockmaker saved me. He gave me back my time. Now I help others find theirs." Lena nodded. "Thank you." He handed her a new clock. It was made of glass and wood, with her name on the back. "This one moves with your rhythm," he said. "Wherever you go, it will tick as you choose." On her last morning, Lena stood by the dock. The ferry waited. The other guests waved goodbye. She looked back at the island one last time. The wind carried soft ticking. The sea sparkled. The sky opened wide. She whispered, "I'm ready." And she stepped onto the boat. Back in the city, things were still fast.
Cars. Lights.
Buzzing phones. But Lena was different. She walked slower. She looked people in the eye. She said no when she needed to. She said yes to life more often. She placed the clock on her desk. It ticked calmly. Sometimes friends visited her. They said, "You've changed." She smiled. "I found a place. It helped me remember time." She never said exactly where. But when someone looked tired, overwhelmed, or lost, she wrote something on a piece of paper and slipped it into their bag. "You are losing time. Come find it." And maybe somewhere across the world, a small clock begins to tick again. Thank you for listening to this story. We'll see you in the next one.